glitter of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle.
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Well, Boris Badanov's efforts to make Moosylvania the world's most popular disaster area have really brought results.
Golly, Bullwinkle, we've got more emergency supplies than we know what to do with.
Yeah, here's 22 gross of emergency collar buttons. Now, if we only wore emergency collars,
Well, how about this? 46 tons of bubble gum. That's a lot.
more than I use in a week.
Yes, the kind-hearted citizens of the USA had made Moosylvania the dumping ground for every surplus item in the country. In fact, so much junk was piled up on the swampy soil of Moosylvania that the whole island began to sink.
Bullwinkle, I'm up to my knees in water.
You were expecting champagne?
Hadn't we better leave?
Leave Moosylvania, but Rocky, I'm the governor.
Oh.
A good governor always goes down with his state.
So?
Natasha, you wouldn't believe it. That idiot Moose is going to drown himself.
And all the supplies too, darling.
Yeah, that's right. All the... Oh, boy. Those are our supplies.
Ours? But we haven't stolen them yet, Boris.
It's only a matter of crime, Natasha.
And if all that loot goes on the water, what will Fearless Leader say?
He'll say, you go underground, bad enough.
Funny, that's what I thought you'd say, dear old superior.
Bad enough you were supposed to steal all those supplies and send them to Moosylvania.
But Fearless Leader is not the right time yet.
Bad enough the island is loaded.
I tell you, it's not the right time.
And it's starting to sink.
It's still not the right time.
And if you don't get to work, you will be number one on the liquidation parade.
Now is the right time. Come, Natasha.
Mooring close to the soggy site, Boris and Natasha began swiping supplies and rowing them to their submarine yacht. But fast as they could steal, the island sank still faster. Meanwhile, Rocky was perched atop a 16-ton cement mixer, watching Bullwinkle, who was still determined to go down with his state.
Yeah, I'm a determined sinker, Rock.
You can say that again.
I don't think I dare.
There must be something I can do for you.
How about a rousing chorus of taps?
Isn't there anything you want?
How about a piece of that bubble gum?
Bullwinkle, that's it.
What's it?
Bubble gum. That's how we'll save Moosylvania.
You putting me on, Rock?
Bubblegum? Boris, what does this mean?
It means Squirrel has finally flipped his goggles. Come, help me with these cartons of butterscotch yogurt.
Meanwhile, Rocky was dumping boxes of bubble gum into the huge cement mixer.
I just wanted one little piece, Rock.
You won't need one, Bullwinkle. Watch.
And the brainy Squirrel zoomed to a large tank of surplus helium left over from the Navy blimp school. In a few minutes, he had fastened the tank to the batch of bubble gum and turned on the valve. Instantly, the bubble gum opened into an enormous helium-filled balloon, which Rocky then fastened to a nearby tree root.
I just wanted one little piece, Rock.
Don't you see, Bullwinkle? These balloons will keep Moosylvania from sinking.
True, in just a little while, Rocky had a dozen of these huge balloons swaying in the breeze. Of course, their upward pull countered the weight of the supplies. The island stopped sinking, and Bullwinkle slowly emerged from the swamp.
Ta-da!
Boris, the squirrel has done it again.
You know, I hate to admit it, Natasha, but he's a pretty smart cookie.
Then why are you lighting the fuse on that dynamite?
Because that's the way the cookie crumbles.
And Boris tossed the dynamite right under our hero's furry tail. Don't miss our next bang-up episode, Moosylvania Mishmash, or A State of Confusion.
Once upon a time, there was a witch named Griselka who chalked up a very enviable record when it came to witchery.
I hereby cast a spell upon you, and henceforth you shall be known as Sleeping Beauty. I hereby cast a spell upon you, and forevermore you shall remain a frog.
Naturally, when it came time to give out the award for the best witch of the year...
I shall treasure this gold-plated skull the rest of my unnatural life.
Well, sir, Griselka's stock soared sky high after that, and every night was Halloween as far as she was concerned.
Grizz, you're due to fly to London tonight to touch off the year of the plague.
We'll cancel that until Monday. I have to lock a damsel named Rapunzel in a tower. Undancer!
This went on for months, and Griselka was just about the most popular witch of all time. That's when it happened. There she was, concocting a vile brew in a cauldron, when suddenly the door opened, and there stood the most handsome prince in the world.
Ah, fair lady. Could I trouble you for a flagon of water?
That was tantamount to committing hara-kiri.
Instead of water, try a sip of this.
Here's looking at you, sweet damsel. Cheers.
Ah, but witches, too, have hearts. And it was there that Griselka was struck by Cupid's timely arrow.
Don't drink that!
The liquid burned a hole 3 feet deep.
I say, that must be carbonated.
You know, I must have that prince.
But Griselka was so ugly that she could look in a mirror and crack it.
But it's a poisoned apple you're supposed to send to Snow White.
You sure it isn't a poisoned watermelon?
Look, Grizz, yesterday you changed a bat into a bunny rabbit. You better go see a doctor. There's no doubt of it, madam. You have an acute case of amoritis.
Is that anything like the 3-year itch?
Madam, you are in love. L-U-F, love.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, and don't you dare crack on me. How can I win the prince's love?
You must cast a spell on yourself. And now I must go before I crack up.
Of course, the mirror is right. If I change myself into a beautiful princess, the prince will fall in love with me.
This was the biggest job she ever faced. For 2 weeks, she boiled wolfbane, mice wings, and gruffy powder in the old reliable cauldron. And finally...
Through the mouth and through the gums. Look out, stomach! Here it comes!
The age-old incantation never failed. Where once there was a witch, stood an enchanting princess.
Well, my son, how are you enjoying the ball?
I'm having a ball, Dad.
I know that, but how are you enjoying it?
But before the prince could answer, his eyes spied what to him was the most beautiful maiden he had ever seen.
You're beautiful, you're lovely, you're engaged to me.
A whirlwind courtship ensued, during which the prince and his inamorata was seen everywhere. Ah, but they were not alone.
I say, sweetheart, have you noticed that broom that seems to follow us wherever we go?
Broom?
There was no mistaking it. This was the very same broom Griselka had ridden on her nightly forays.
Quick, dearest, lock the broom in the cellar.
Even though the request was a strange one, the prince complied. But that night, at the opera...
Now, don't look now, but isn't that the same broom sitting next to you?
Oh, quick, my love, take me home.
Alas, there was no running away from her past. No matter where the princess went, the broom was sure to go.
So, you used to be Griselka the witch, eh?
Oh, yes, Doctor.
Amazing. We wondered where you'd got to. Now, tell me your problem.
And the princess unfolded the bizarre happenings of the past week.
Well, this is all psychological, my dear. You see, that broom...
This broom?
Oh, yes. Anyway, that broom has a dust complex. You see, it's lonely. It misses its former owner. It undoubtedly still thinks that you are a witch.
Well, what can I do, Doctor? What can I do?
Next time, take the train.
The desperate princess returned to the hut where she had once lived as a witch, followed closely by the broom.
Oh, if there was only someone to help me.
There is, there is.
Oh, mirror, mirror on the wall, reflecting all this gloom, how in the world does one get rid of an old but faithful broom?
The answer is simple. Get a gride.
Now, in those days, dustpans weren't called dustpans, they were called grides. And so it was that the princess immediately purchased a small but attractive gride and set it beside the lonesome broom in the broom closet. The rest happened naturally.
And do you, Prince, take this princess for your wife?
Oh, I do.
Yes, it turned out to be a double wedding ceremony. Not only was there a bride and a groom, but there was also a gride and a broom.
Private Bullwinkle, sir, with a message.
Just in time.
Is it important?
Is it? Just look. And now, for all you travelers of the open road, here's Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello, carefree adventure lovers. Today, let's examine the most economical form of transportation, hitchhiking. First, we need two important ingredients, a road and a thumb. Then, stepping 18 inches onto the pavement itself, the hitchhiker smiles broadly at the hitchhikee, or driver, and immediately which brings us to the problem of overconfident. You must look modest but helpful.
Hey, Moose.
You see?
You got a match?
Why, of course, kindly, sir. Say, you wouldn't happen to be going to... Which brings us to the Petroleus Neglecticus method, or out-of-gas look. If you hold an empty gas can, the motorist naturally assumes you need a ride to the next station. Of course, you must exert extreme care with the gas can, because you could...
Hey, Moose, thanks for match.
It may become necessary to trick the motorist into giving you a ride. By creating the impression of a railroad crossing, you make the motorist stop. Then all you have to do is... Oh, no. I'll stand over here where it's safe until he comes to a complete stop.
Gee, Mr. Know-It-All, you didn't do so well. Think you'll ever get a ride?
Of course. There's one important little element I left out that makes it absolutely certain I'll get a ride.
You're right, Bullwinkle. One little element.
Yep. It's illegal.
And now it's time...
Time for that jolly juggler, Bullwinkle.
Oh, dear.
3 at once. 1, 2...
And now here's a feature you're sure to like.
3.
Sunset, that time of day when the tired Mountie sits down to dinner and gets his just desserts. And just what does the tired Mountie do after dinner? Well, if he's anything like Dudley Do-Right, champion of the oppressed and all-around goody two-shoes, he goes for a swim in the river.
Last one in is a rotten egg.
Which is just what he had eaten for dinner. The rest of his fellow Mounties remained in the dining hall, however. For you see, this was the middle of winter, and the river was anything but swimmable. By the time they got him out, Dudley's warm outlook on life had cooled considerably.
That ice is certainly thick.
So is your head, Dudley.
The vision of loveliness administering first aid to our hero is the haunting and ever-popular Nell Fenwick. She and Dudley have been engaged for 22 years.
You need someone to take care of you.
I have my horse.
You need a woman.
What is a woman?
I am a woman, Dudley, and I have decided to let you marry me.
10 minutes later, they stood before the preacher.
And if there is anyone present who objects to this union, let him speak now.
The gentleman about to object is Dudley's lifelong enemy, the malevolent Snidely Whiplash.
I don't know what it means, but I object.
Whiplash, you cur. So you would ruin my wedding, eh?
As a starter, yes.
Dudley picked up the thing nearest to him, which happened to be Nell, and threw it.
Aha! I have her, and you shall never get her back, or any other part of her.
Quick, Do-Right, give chase.
What? And miss all this swell food?
Far above Cayuga's waters sat Snidely Whiplash's sawmill, scene of many a tragedy.
Why are you doing this, you devil?
Because, Miss Fenwick, beneath this black exterior, there lies a mustard plaster. And over the mustard plaster there hangs an asafoetida bag. On it, imprinted in pica, are the words, Whippy loves Nellie. What I'm trying to say is, I love you. Well, let's say I like you a lot.
But I despise you.
You won't be mine?
Never.
Well, if I can't have you, neither can do right.
He tied Nell to a log, pulled a lever, and started her on her way to the teeth of a giant saw. Fortunately, the conveyor belt was in need of oiling, and the trip was a slow one.
I must get word to Dudley.
Nell was in luck, for as Whiplash stepped out of the back door, a mailman stepped through the front.
One of them new weight-reducing machines, ma'am?
Quick, sir. Are you en route to the Mountie post?
No, but I'm going there.
Taking a pencil, she scrawled the word help on a sheet of paper, stuffed it into an envelope, addressed the envelope to Dudley Do-Right, then fainted from the exertion. 2 days later at the post, Nell's father, Inspector Fenwick, chatted with our hero.
I haven't seen Nell lately.
Come to think of it, I haven't either.
Perhaps she's visiting your sister.
Does she have a sister?
No, but Nell's a strange girl.
At that moment...
I ran all the way from Whiplash's sawmill. I have an urgent letter for Constable Do-Right.
It's from Nell. I'd know her penmanship anywhere.
Yes, it's from Nell, all right.
Well, aren't you going to open it?
That would be against the law, sir. You see, there isn't a stamp on the envelope.
And there you have the reason why Dudley rode to the sawmill, dashed inside when Nell was still on her way to the saw, talked her into sticking a stamp on the envelope, dashed outside the sawmill, rode all the way back to the post, and said to the inspector...
It's from Nell, sir. She needs help.
Well, stand there, Do-Right. Don't just do something.
It took them an hour and a half to straighten out that last line, but eventually Dudley was on his way to the rescue. Would he make it in time?
Oh, save me, save me! Somebody save me!
Don't go all to pieces, Nell. Wait about 5 seconds.
It looked like Nell Fenwick's wick was about to be extinguished when...
The jig is up, Whiplash!
Dudley, the saw! Pull the lever!
He pulled the lever all right, but the one that said free-wheeling. The saw rotated madly, broke free of its moorings, and ate its way around the mill.
Created a Frankenstein!
Within 5 minutes, the sawmill had been reduced to sawdust. As for Whiplash, he was last seen heading in the general direction of downtown Toronto, closely followed by the saw.
Oh, Dudley, my hero!
Nell, my heroine!
At approximately 11:10 the following morning, every available Mountie gathered on the post parade grounds. Constable Do-Right was to receive the Canadian Pretty Good Conduct Medal.
Before I pin this on you, Do-Right, when are you and my daughter going to be married?
Oh, I'd say in about 10 years, sir. Unless she gets out before that for good behavior. You see, I had to arrest her for mail fraud. The stamp she stuck on the envelope? Blue chip, sir. Against all regulations.
Well, in our last episode, Rocky saved the island of Moosylvania from sinking by using his brainy little head.
And 46 tons of bubble gum.
Same thing.
But an angry Boris lit the fuse on a stick of dynamite and tossed it right at Rocky.
Quick, back to the submarine, Natasha. You don't want to be hit by flying pieces of flying squirrel.
Calling Boris Badenov. Coming, Badenov.
I mean, fearless leader booby. You see me toss dynamite at squirrel?
Badenov, you are an incompetent, stupid, disgusting little nincompoop.
Who's little?
If that dynamite goes off on the island, the balloons will collapse, the island will sink, and there will be nothing left for us to steal but acres and acres of goo.
It's just that she's so tall it makes me look... Acres of what?
Goo! Goo!
Natasha, I think fearless leader is in his second childhood.
Boris, he's talking about what the dynamite will do to those sticky balloons.
Yeah, they're... Oh, boy.
And Boris dashed madly away. In a flash, he returned with a sizzling dynamite, which he deposited neatly in a handy, thin trash barrel.
See, you got to have a cool head and nerves of... A thin trash barrel.
Darling, that is not a trash barrel. That is a ventilator on our submarine.
Gee, I could have sworn that was a trash barrel.
Yeah, you're certainly a dumbhead. Me too.
And while Boris sinks slowly in the west, let's travel east and see how our friends are making out.
Well, I guess those balloons will hold till we can send all this stuff back, Bullwinkle.
Send it back?
Sure. Moosylvania's not really a disaster area. It always looks that way.
But how do we send it back?
Easy. Call your friendly neighborhood moving man. Is me, my card.
Van and Storage. You're a moving man?
Watch.
Yup, he's moving all right.
And you'll return all this stuff for us? How much?
For you, I do it free from charge.
Free?
Boris, you're not going to take the money.
Natasha, if they pay me to steal from them, I lose my amateur standing.
And so it was a short time later that a makeshift barge loaded with a fantastic amount of surplus goodies was headed out to the open sea.
Moosylvania, here we come.
At that moment, a sinister-looking black submarine surfaced beside them, and out stepped fearless leader himself.
Boris Baby Liebchen.
Liebchen?
When we peddle all this stuff, Moosylvania will be in the black again. You've saved the country.
You mean I'm a hero?
Absolutely. And so I now give you the Moosylvanian Order of the Double Cross. Here, catch.
Boris, look out!
Yes, that tiny ounce of metal was just 1 ounce too many. The added weight began to push the enormous barge underwater.
Oh, come on, not twice in one episode.
Boris, darling, throw the metal overboard.
But fearless leader himself gave that to me.
Bad enough, you're sinking the whole cargo.
What happens if it sinks?
You get shot.
What happens if I throw away the metal?
You get shot.
Well, at least I got a choice. Now let me see.
Well, the old place is back to subnormal, Rock.
Yeah, and we... Hey, was that a shot?
Heck no, Rock.
Well, it sounded like a shot.
Nope.
Then what was it?
That was the end.
By George, he's got it. It is the end. But watch for another episode soon of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
It may be a little hard to find, but don't give up.
We're not. Well, it looks as if our time is just about run out.
Mine must be a little slow.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop.
We're late again, Bullwinkle.
Right.
Bye now. See you next time.